In a previous video, you saw me use PolicyPak Software Package Manager to deploy Microsoft Windows Store applications like Slack or Power BI Desktop. And you can see, you just double click on the application and it runs just like that, which is great news. The thing, however, is that there's always going to be some kind of stray applications on the desktop that you really can't wiggle out of. There are some things that are not removable. Turns out, good news is that you can use PolicyPak Least Privilege Manager in conjunction with the Software Package Manager. Now, let's also assume that you want to deploy some package later. So let's get a package kind of staged and ready to rock that we won't deploy yet. So I'm going to do something goofy like Netflix. I know you probably wouldn't really want to deploy Netflix. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. But let's go ahead and get Netflix just as an option here. Okay, and the way we're going to do this is that we're going to go to the share. You saw me do this in the previous video. We're going to copy the link, and then I'm just going to hold it here in Notepad just for a second, okay? Just going to hang on to that for just a moment. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our Least Privilege Manager UWP blocking piece. So we'll create a new Windows Universal policy here, and this is only available in the PolicyPak Least Privilege Manager Complete Edition, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll say, hey, look, all UWP apps, say no thank you, deny execution to all that stuff. Okay, we can also use a customized message like, must contact IT or whatever. You can put variables and all sorts of stuff in there. We're not going to do that. And then we'll go ahead and say everything from UWP is denied. Let's just go ahead and see this work. So Netflix is not delivered. We're going to run GP update here. Give this a second to catch up. And what we're going to see is that nothing at all is going to work. Slack's not going to work. Power BI Desktop's not going to work. Nothing on purpose. We just told it, hey, put the smackdown on. And Microsoft Store, that's not going to work either. Everything is going to be completely blocked, including goofy things like these Xbox console stuff. Let's go ahead and check that out and see that that's accurate. So let's go ahead and run Slack. And what do we get? Here we go. Must contact IT. And if we were to go to, say, the Xbox console, must contact IT. And if we were to try to go to the Microsoft Store, what do we get? Must contact IT. But, we really want Slack to work, and we also want to get our Netflix deployed. Well, what are we going to do? Well, first thing is that we can go back to the little helper utility I showed you in the last video. We can go to the PolicyPak Extras folder and find the Software Package Helper utility. And if we take a look at the publishers that are on this box, like for instance Slack, okay, what we can do is take a look and see who's here. And there's Slack, and there's the publisher. So what we can do is we can export all these items here. We can just check all, and we're just going to get the XML involved here. I'm just going to save it to like c:\temp or something like that. It doesn't really, or right here on the desktop. That's fine. All right, here we go. Registered apps. Okay, great. Let's just take a look at this for 2 seconds here. What we're after is the Slack publisher. Slack publisher, there we go. Let's get that guy right here. Bing, bing, bing. And we will take that detail, the Slack publisher, and what we want to do is add a new UWP policy that lets us enable specific UWP apps from this publisher, which is going to be Slack, just like that. And we will now allow and log execution and allow apps from Slack, just like that. Let's go ahead and do that. That's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do is go back to Software Package Manager, and we're going to deploy Netflix or whatever other application you want. I just want to prove that even when we're blocking UWP, the AppX delivery for Software Package Manager still works. Okay, so I'm going to deliver Netflix, okay, and I'll go ahead and put this in here as well. But you know what? We actually, it would be smart for us if we actually got the publisher too. So I guess we could do that after we do this. So we'll go ahead and deliver Netflix here, and then we'll come back around on it. So we'll go run GP update here, and what we'll see is that two things will happen. First thing that happens is that we're going to be deploying Netflix, and the second thing is that we're going to be allowing Slack. All right, so go ahead and run Slack. Let's see what happens. Boom, that's permitted. Excellent, that worked. And now we're just giving it a moment for Netflix to catch up here. So there's Netflix, but is it going to run? No, we are actively blocking it. And why are we actively blocking it? Because we're blocking all UWP apps. We need to specifically say that it's okay to run. So what we'll do, we'll once again get our little helper utility here. We'll go to the File Explorer here. Go ahead and run our little helper utility and extras. Get the start screen. Oops, get the Software Package Manager helper tool. Let's take a look at what we've got here. And we'll go for Netflix. There it is. And we can go ahead and export this guy again. There we go. Yep. We just need to get that ID. And if we take a look at registered apps, and there's the Netflix publisher. We could also have done this by name. That probably would have worked too. But I like publisher because it's more strong. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do publisher. And then we'll go back to least privilege. And we'll say add a new universal policy here. And we're going to let specific enterprise apps by this publisher. Okay. And we will say allow and log. So now we're saying Netflix is good. Allow apps from Netflix. Now you have got a very tight ship. So let's go ahead and verify that that worked the way we expect. We'll go ahead and run GP update here. Give this a second to catch up. And now that we're all wrapped up, let's review. Netflix, does it run? Yes, it runs because we said that that publisher is good to go because of PolicyPak Least Privilege Manager. So the point of the story is you can use PolicyPak Software Package Manager to deliver any AppX packages you want. You can do a smackdown with PolicyPak Least Privilege Manager with our UWP apps and then open up the little doggy doors to make sure that the applications that you say are valid to run, but the things that you say are no bueno are still no bueno. So you must still contact IT for those things, because some of these items you can't remove, and because of that, you want to make sure that you have exactly the controls that you want. So you can remove applications, many of them. You can add many of them using Software Package Manager. But then if you want to put the full smackdown on, you'll use Least Privilege Manager with our add new UWP policy to deny your UWP applications and then allow the ones that you expressly want to open up. And there you go. Hope this helps you out. Looking forward to getting you started with PolicyPak real soon.